The airport security agent wrote on my boarding pass, "Don't get on this flight." I stared at the words, scribbled in blue pen on the corner of my boarding pass, my brain struggling to process what I was seeing. The security agent, a middle-aged black woman with kind eyes and graying hair pulled back in a tight bun, had just handed it back to me after checking my ID. "Excuse me, what does this mean?" I held up the boarding pass, pointing at the handwritten warning, but when I looked up, she was already waving the next passenger forward, her expression completely neutral, as if she hadn't just written something that made my heart start pounding. "Ma'am, I need to understand what this means. Why shouldn't I get on this flight?" I tried again, my voice rising slightly. She glanced at me briefly, and for just a second, I saw something flash in her eyes. Urgency, fear, maybe even desperation. But then her professional mask slammed back into place. "Sir, you need to move along. You're holding up the line." Her voice was firm, but not unkind. The businessman behind me was already getting impatient, checking his watch and sighing loudly. I stepped aside from the security checkpoint, my hands trembling as I examined the boarding pass more carefully. Flight 2847 from Chicago O'Hare to Seattle, departing at 3:15 p.m. I was supposed to be home by 8 p.m. for my son's birthday dinner. My wife Rachel had planned the whole thing. His favorite meal, a cake shaped like a dinosaur, all his friends from school. I'd been traveling for work all week and had promised I wouldn't miss it. But now I was standing in the middle of the airport, holding a boarding pass with a cryptic warning written on it by a TSA agent who was now completely ignoring me. I looked back at her, but she was focused on checking IDs, her movements mechanical and efficient. There was no indication that she'd done anything unusual. Maybe I'd misread it. I looked at the boarding pass again. No, the words were clear. "Don't get on this flight." The handwriting was hurried but legible. This wasn't a mistake or a smudge. Someone had deliberately written this warning. My first instinct was to call Rachel, but what would I even say? "Hey honey, a TSA agent wrote a weird note on my boarding pass, so I'm going to miss Jake's birthday?" She'd think I was making excuses or having some kind of breakdown. I pulled out my phone and Googled TSA agent warning not to board flight, but found nothing relevant, just conspiracy theories and stories about flight delays. The departure board showed my flight was on time, boarding in 45 minutes at gate C-17. I looked around the terminal. Everything looked completely normal. Travelers rushing past with roller bags, families gathered at gates, the constant drone of CNN playing on mounted TVs. So why had that agent warned me? I walked back toward the security checkpoint, but there was a different agent at the podium now, a young guy who looked barely old enough to be out of college. The woman who'd written the note was nowhere to be seen. "Excuse me," I said to the young agent. "There was a woman working here a few minutes ago, older, African American. Where did she go?" Full story on my channel and linked below.